When we think of cavemen, we picture stone, tools, fire, and mammoths, but rarely their strange sexual world. Sex in prehistoric times was not private, romantic, or even always consensual. It was wild and ritualistic. Caves were not only shelters, they were the earliest bedrooms where intimacy happened openly. In a world without shame or religion, sexuality was raw, primal, and deeply symbolic. Survival was hard, and reproduction was the only way to keep the tribe alive through deadly winters. The sexual practices of cavemen may shock modern society, but they were essential for tribal life. Through bones, cave paintings, and oral history, we uncover their bizarre sexual traditions. This documentary dives into the caveman bedroom not to shame them, but to understand our roots. Behind the stone walls and animal skins was a complex system of mating, bonding, and rituals. Forget modern morality, these early humans followed instincts and tribal laws. Their rituals included sex contests, public mating, and sacred reproduction events. You're about to discover the strange and forgotten world of prehistoric passion. From group intimacy to fertility worship, the caveman world was far from simple. Their culture of love was shaped by hunger, danger, and the stars above. Let's unlock the most bizarre sexual secrets of our ancient ancestors. Cavemen lived in shared shelters where dozens of people slept side by side every night. There were no doors or bedrooms. Everyone lived, ate, and mated in the same communal space. Sex wasn't hidden behind walls or under covers. It was part of daily tribal life. Children grew up seeing intimacy and learning its role in survival, not shame. People used animal skins or fur blankets for warmth and intimacy during cold nights. Whispers, firelight, and rhythmic sounds filled the night caves like primal lullabies. Many tribes believed that sexual pleasure strengthened the body and spirit. Watching others mate was not perversion, it was education and initiation. Some elders even instructed young adults during their first intimate experiences. Privacy was not a concept. They shared food, fire, and sometimes even lovers. Jealousy was rare because mating was often a collective responsibility. Tribal unity was maintained by open expression of desire and reproduction. Love, as we know it, didn't exist, but bonding through sex was common. Sex wasn't sacred or sinful, it was a natural function of human connection. This openness shaped the foundation of early human intimacy. Cavemen often aligned their sexual activities with moon phases and natural cycles. Full moons were considered powerful symbols of fertility and energy. Tribes gathered for moonlit rituals where dancing and mating merged into one. These events involved drums, fire, body paint, and intoxication from herbs. Mating during these times was believed to bring stronger offspring. The moon was seen as a feminine force that guided reproduction and passion. Sex was not just personal, it was tribal, cosmic, and magical. Participants often wore animal horns or feathers to embody spirits. These moon rituals sometimes lasted all night, involving multiple couples. It was believed that spirits of ancestors watched and blessed the acts. These ceremonies ensured tribe fertility and connection to nature. Even shamans participated, guiding the rhythm and symbolic gestures. Sex under the full moon was sacred, shared, and socially celebrated. It wasn't just about pleasure. It was about honoring the earth. These moonlit orgies were both spiritual offerings and survival strategy. Not everyone in the tribe had equal rights to choose partners or mate freely. Dominant males often controlled access to the most fertile or desirable women. These men earned their status through hunting, fighting, or leadership skills. Weaker males had to prove themselves in rituals or competitions for mating rights. Some tribes organized mock battles where winners earned sexual privileges. Women were sometimes won or claimed like trophies in warrior rituals. But in certain tribes, women had the power to choose their mates based on skill. Sex was often used as a reward system tied to tribal contribution and strength. Younger males went through tests or rites before they could sleep with anyone. Elder warriors and hunters often mated with multiple partners during festivals. These systems created hierarchy but also protected genetic strength. Sex wasn't based on romance, it was tied to power, success, and survival. Polygamy was common, but not everyone earned the right to practice it. Mating was often a political act deciding who led and who obeyed. This sexual structure shaped early human society and gender roles. Fertility festivals were major tribal events, celebrated during changing seasons. Springtime marked the rebirth of life and the need to create new life. During these festivals, tribes engaged in group intimacy to honor nature. Men and women paired off or shared partners as part of symbolic rituals. Sex during these times was believed to boost harvests, hunts, and births. Venus figurines and fertility idols were often placed nearby to bless acts. These acts were witnessed, accepted, and often encouraged by tribal leaders. The line between sacred ritual and group pleasure was often blurred. It wasn't considered cheating or shameful, it was cultural duty. Sexual energy was released as an offering to gods of rain, crops, or animals. Sometimes, outsiders or members of neighboring tribes joined in. These events also strengthened alliances between different clans. Children born from these rituals were considered sacred or lucky. The tribe valued those who could reproduce well and often. These festivals turned caves into temples of passion, and in caveman tribes, the concept of father was often unclear or unimportant. Because multiple partners were common, paternity was rarely known. Children were raised communally by the tribe, not just by biological parents. This reduced jealousy and promoted strong social bonds among tribe members. Mothers were honored as life givers. Men served as general protectors. No one claimed ownership of a child, it was the tribe's responsibility. Sexual freedom helped prevent fights over offspring and inheritance. All adult males helped in feeding, teaching, and defending the young. This parenting model made the tribe function like one large family. Children saw multiple role models, not just one parental figure. Women had the freedom to choose strong partners for better genetics. The idea of monogamy had no place in a society built on group survival. Love wasn't exclusive, but nurturing was abundant and shared. Even mating was less about who and more about when and why. This system created emotional safety and reproductive success. There were no schools or books, everything was taught through watching and doing. Sexual education began early, by observing older tribe members. Young people were taught rituals, techniques, and beliefs from elders. Some tribes had initiation ceremonies for first-time sexual experience. These often involved guidance from an older, experienced adult partner. It was seen as a teaching moment, not abuse or shame. Both boys and girls learned their roles through sacred sexual training. Skills in mating were considered as vital as hunting or fire-making. Knowledge of the body, timing, and pleasure was passed down. Shamans explained the spiritual and natural meaning behind sex. Songs, dances, and symbols were used to explain reproduction. Older women played a major role in guiding younger women. These lessons were tribal traditions, not forbidden secrets. Sex was part of life, not a hidden or awkward topic. Cavemen learned about love through living it. Cavemen believed sexual acts had magical consequences, both good and bad. Some thought sex during a solar eclipse could cause birth defects or death. Others believed conception under shooting stars produced wise children. Sex near sacred trees, rivers, or caves was believed to summon spirits. Shamans warned of spirits that punished bad sexual behavior. Symbols were drawn on skin to protect genitals or increase fertility. Certain stones and herbs were used as primitive aphrodisiacs or potions. Sexual dreams were interpreted as messages from gods or ancestors. It was believed that breaking sexual taboos could curse the whole tribe. Some rituals involved animal blood to bless sexual unions. Twins were considered both a miracle and a warning from spirits. Masturbation was sometimes seen as wasteful or dangerous. Magic spells were used to attract lovers or enhance performance. Everything about sex had deeper meaning tied to nature and fear. Even cavemen blended pleasure with superstition and myth. While gender roles existed, cavemen's sexuality wasn't strictly binary. Evidence suggests some tribes accepted same-sex relationships and bonding. Sexual acts between males were sometimes part of warrior bonding rituals. Older males might mentor younger ones through intimate instruction. Women often shared emotional and physical closeness without judgment. These relationships were not labeled, they simply were. The tribe valued connection more than rigid definitions. Same-sex bonding could also reduce competition over female partners. Some shamans lived outside traditional gender roles entirely. They were believed to possess both male and female spirit energy. These two-spirit individuals held spiritual or sexual leadership roles. Gender roles shifted during certain ceremonies or festivals. Cavemen weren't as fixed in sexual identity as modern society assumes. Their main concern was survival, unity, and tribal harmony. Love came in many forms even in the Stone Age. Their world was brutal, wild, and raw, but also full of intimacy and bonding. Cavemen weren't beasts, they were humans with deep emotional needs. Their sexual practices may seem bizarre, but they had purpose and meaning. They found unity through shared desire, rituals, and reproduction. Love wasn't monogamous or moral, it was tribal, spiritual, and necessary. From moonlit festivals to caveside teachings, sex shaped their society. Behind every mammoth hunt was a community built through passion. Today, we live in buildings, but the caveman still lives in our instincts. Their practices still echo in our fantasies, fears, and desires. By studying their sexuality, we learn about human roots and evolution. It's not about shock, it's about understanding where we came from. They built the foundation of what it means to love, bond, and reproduce. Cavemen didn't write poetry, but their actions spoke volumes. And now, through this knowledge, their secrets are no longer buried. The fire they lit still burns within us all.